Greetings, this is the Forgotten Prime, and today I am going to rant. Yes, another one. And it's about comic book hobbyisms. One particular. I have been a fan of Thor forever. And for some ungodly reason, somebody thinks it's a good idea to just say, okay, it's another timeline or another dimension, so we could get away with it. No. Here's the kicker. Thor, for Marvel comic books and any other franchise that actually used a character that was based off of the thought, was actually off another old guy in history. The Norse mythology. I apologize that I can't pronunciate that word correctly, but I'm doing my best. The hammer of Thor was both a tool and a weapon. And the story that I remember from actual Thor, the Thor, he was a very odd man. He made me think of a very feminine, masculine man. He loved with his heart and beat with his strength. And that was what I got from the books that I had read. I can't remember them anymore, but those are the feelings that I still remember that are etched into my being. And then when I started reading the Marvel comic books, I remembered that his hammer was both his curse and his blessing. When he was banished to Earth without his powers and lost his hammer, he actually lost his way. It was a human, the woman, who gave him a reason to try more, to be more. And he regained his powers. His powers. That's the thing that you guys think, that it's this that gives him his powers. The hammer is nothing. It is just a tool. But here's the thing that makes no sense. When his father realized that he was going to use his powers for ill, he put that spell to prevent his son to become a bad person, because he remembered what he had done with his own daughter. He remembered. He figured, if I give my son a little bit more limits than I did my daughter, maybe, just maybe, my son won't repeat the same mistakes that I had made with my daughter. Maybe he'd be better. But he flaunted his strength. He didn't know really his true God of Thunder powers. That's the thing where you don't understand. The hammer is nothing without the God. Whoever holds this hammer, if he be worthy, shall possess the power of Thor. Thor, not Thoran, Thorax, nobody else. Sure, Better A Bill was able to pick this thing up, but he got his own made in the comic book franchise. In the movie franchise, they had to give the Stormbringer to Thor. Stormbringer was actually Better A Bill's hammer for those who don't know about the comic book franchises. And yet, now, whoever holds this hammer, if they be worthy, shall possess the power of Thor. Shame on you for changing that. This is what's going to continue. Because I am done with these games that you are pushing into the stories. Leave them alone. Tell the stories as they were written. Sure, throw in a curveball from time to time. I loved the Ultimate franchise, but I hated what you freaking did to Nick Fury. Have an alien cat gouge out his eye. Continued. More throwing out the original stories. But you want to use your political agendas in it. Please. For the sake of making money. I mean it. If you want to make money, stop this now. But you probably won't. You'll continue to walk down this line. Every last one of the geeks that I've watched on YouTube and other places that talk about our hobbies, and you're ignoring us. And those that are doing third-party comic books, I praise you. Continue doing more. And I beg you, do some giant robot comic books. I would love it. Because right now, there is no alternative for Transformers. It's falling into the same pit. And I don't like it. All of the comic book franchises are falling in this pit. And anybody who loves comic book franchises, stories, characters, if you are in the industry and actually really care, put your job on the line and say no. Please. Because if we continue down this path, you're going to see exactly what happened in the 80s. Companies closing left and right. You're going to do what KB Toy Stores did. You're going to collapse. And somebody is going to have a little bit of what's owned of the franchise, and they're going to pick up the pieces and re-ballpark it. And I'm loving the fact that Toys R Us is coming back. And it's going to be better, I hope. I hope. And all of you people who hate hobbyism, if you hate it so much, stop looking at it. It's not meant for you. Just like the way Brie Larson said, we weren't made. Things weren't made for us. Well, guess what? Our hobbyism wasn't made for you people. If you don't like it, don't look at it. Don't buy it. Leave us alone. Let us have our hobbyisms. Let us have our games. Let us have our comic books. Let us have our action figures. Whether we're male, female, or otherwise. Enough. With great power comes great responsibility, people. And you are failing. I am a super otaku, jack of many trades, spontaneous all over the bloody place. And I'm happy to be me. Because of my hobbyisms, they made me who I am. And I've kept my silence for far too long. I'm speaking out. And I'm going to continue speaking out. Comic books, games, films are not political platforms. Take it out and walk it. Tell the stories. If you're political, leave it at the door. If you want political, make your own comic books and you'll see how much it sells. The truth in it. I dare you to make a true, built from the ground up political comic book and see how it sells. But you won't, because none of you got the balls or the brains. Without respect, we reject. My wallet is sealed.